Welcome back, Raider Nation and my champions. This is Eric, and in breaking news, we do have a contract extension for Derek Carr, 3 years, $121.5 million deal. We're going to talk about that and give it a grade, so let's get right to it. Let's get right to this with Derek Carr here. PFF ranked 13th. I think that's a little low, to be honest with you. The extension is for 3 years, $121.5 million. There's some nuances to that. We'll get right to that. But first, I want to talk about the 2021 season. Of course, he's the leader of the team. I've been probable run this last 4 games, with Gruden, with Ruggs, with Arnett, a whole mess. And yet we still got to the playoffs. Now, as far as his stats go, he did have 4,800 yards, but only 23 touchdowns and those interceptions, 14, higher than he's had in several years, and 8 lost fumbles. So he's got to clean that up. But I'm going to say, as far as this extension goes, I didn't think there was a question, especially after we made the trade for Davante Adams, giving up a 1 and a 2. Now they're going to be reunited. Fresno State reunited, and it feels so good. He also put a no trade clause in the contract, and the Raiders agreed to it, of course. But also they have an out after 1 year. Let's get right to that. And I'm going to look at this right here. This is from SpotTrack.com. So we're going to take a little bit look at 2022 this year. Now, he was scheduled to make $19.8 million. He's going to be making about $5 million more as part of this extension deal. However, the cap hit's going to be a little bit lower, roughly about $500,000. So it wasn't I thought there'd be much more of a reduction in the cap. That didn't really happen, unfortunately, given the information we have from SpotTrack.com. I'll keep you up to date on that if that does change. However, there is this potential out here where the Raiders can void the contract. He's guaranteed 2022 entirely, and unless he gets hurt, they could cut him after next year. I really don't see that happening, to be honest with you. I think he's our quarterback probably for the next 3 years, and honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if Derek Carr did retire at that point. I mean, we could extend him, but you never know. And then we're going to take a look at this, so $24.9 million, a little under $25 million right now. That puts him as the 8th highest quarterback paid for the 2022 season. And of course, this is going to go up 33 and then into the 40s. Now, you have to understand, though, salary cap's going to be jumping up. Now, actually regressed during COVID, of course, because the revenues went down. But the people are back in the seats. They're going to be having more revenue. Of course, the salary cap's going to reflect that. So I don't see an issue with this. This reminds me similarly of the contract he had right after his rookie contract, where I believe when he first signed it, he was like in the top 5 for quarterbacks. And then after, I think a couple more signed in that offseason, and then the next year, it basically blew him out of the top 10. So I don't have an issue with this. As the other contracts come up in the NFL with other quarterbacks, that'll knock that number down. I've already said, to me, he's anywhere from the 6th best to the 14th best quarterback. Paying him at number 8 and putting weapons around him, to me, makes sense overall, and it's going to reflect in my grade, and that's going to be an A, of course. I think this is not only a good deal for Derek, but also the organization. And now it looks like our new regime, with all these additions and the extensions, are getting this team together to actually make a serious run at the championship.
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.